I had been rear-ended on my way to an appointment from a careless driver, and she admitted she was going 45 miles per hour. I was sitting still waiting for an emergency vehicle. So it was a big impact. Another attorney recommended Todd, who I really, I trusted him. So therefore I found Todd, and I had asked this attorney, well, don't I want a larger firm representing me? And he said, in his opinion, Todd was the best for my case. And I have to agree, he was 100% correct. Todd was very professional. Todd, I couldn't have asked for someone to be better prepared and to really care about my case and my outcome. And I'm very grateful and thankful that I was given Todd Smith's name and phone number. Well, he gathered a lot of information. He got the police report. He also talked with there were several drivers involved, but it was one person who had caused the accident. And he talked with everyone involved, including myself. And he did a deposition, maybe that's what it is. And he did that, and the person who caused the accident, her story had changed a little bit, but my story never changed. And Todd always remembered that my story never changed, and he liked that. And he would ask me, are you sure that's how, that you recall it? And he told me that he was impressed that my story never changed, because I played it back in my head over and over again. And I liked the fact that Todd was willing to take me in front of a courthouse and have juries. And that didn't bother me, because I really felt like I was an innocent victim of someone's carelessness. And luckily, he got me together with the other attorneys representing the other people that were involved in the accident. And it was like being on TV and listening to him. He had all of the information. He didn't even have to look at notes. I was so impressed with him. And I told my husband when I left there, I'm like, if I ever need another attorney, or I have a friend who needs an attorney, he's going to be who I call, because the other attorneys had misquoted different things, and Todd corrected them in a very professional manner. But he said, if you'll look, you will see that that is not the case. And he really stuck up for me, and he really had my back. And I really felt like I was very fortunate that I had chosen him to represent me. And I've had a few people that have been in accidents since I had been in mine. And unfortunately, their drivers who hit them had no insurance, so therefore they were kind of left out. But I will always remember the kindness, the compassion that Todd and his whole office staff showed to me. And he made me feel very comfortable. And he just told me to tell him the truth, tell him what I recalled. And so it was the best experience. I just settled my case. It was last February. And sitting there, I was a little nervous because I knew other attorneys were there, and they had nothing on Todd. Todd just, like I said, knew the information, my information inside and out. He knew the case so well. And I was so impressed, because I'm thinking, wow, maybe I need to look this up, but he knew it. So I was just I couldn't have asked for a better attorney to represent me. And he wanted to make sure that I had enough money that I could continue to see physicians, acupuncturists, and anyone that could help me so I could stay healthy. And I am very grateful. Well, I was asked, we missed a lot of work, and I am compensated by what I sell because I'm a salesperson. And he argued my case to where he knew exactly, he had me give my IRS records and for the last 5 or 6 years. And so he knew exactly what I was missing for the, the years I had to be cared for under the physicians, because I was going to quite a few physicians. I had to have surgery. And so I missed work for that. I am very active. I play tennis. I couldn't play tennis, which, to some people that might not seem like a misfortune, but to me, it was a very big deal. And so he really looked into the whole thing for me. And I had been a member at a country club and I couldn't really play. So, it was a lot. And I am very impressed that he knew the right things to ask me to help him get, so he would have everything. And he also got information on his own, so he would know the whole case. And like talking to the other drivers, that was important too. And before this, I would have never known you had to do all this, but he did a lot of legwork. And he did that because he wanted his client, me, to make the most out of her case. So I'm very impressed with him. And I feel like whenever I need care, I now have that set aside that I can go get the care I need. Yes, yes. I would never recommend anyone other than him if someone's been in an accident. He was incredible. And matter of fact, I have called him on other things just to see, and his forte is personal injury. So honestly, anytime I ever called, I got a prompt reply back. I never had to call more than once to get a return call. They were on top of everything, the whole staff and Todd. I honestly can't think of anything that I would have changed or said he could do better, because I really feel like they really cared about me, and they really put forth every effort to make me feel comfortable and to know that they were on my side. And when you've been in an accident, that is so extremely important. And I never doubted, and especially sitting in there that day with him at my side, I was like so thankful that he was my attorney and not one of the other drivers who hit me. So he was just so good and totally professional and just very respectful and compassionate. That would be how I would describe Todd and his whole entire staff. I'm just thrilled that I was smart enough to listen to the other attorney tell me that's who I needed to go to. There's so many large firms that you hear how much money they're getting and everything like that. And Todd gave me real expectations. He fought hard for me, and I am totally satisfied. I want others who look at it to think, I don't need a big firm, because I know Todd did better for me than if I would have gone to the large ones, because he really cared. I felt like he was invested in me, and that meant the world. and my husband got to meet him a couple of times. So it was just, he's just a good guy.